What is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with a Green Goblin Classic Legendary event overview in regards to the event that's coming live tomorrow. As you can see, time recording 17 hours until this goes live. Super excited to bring the footage and guides for you guys. But first and foremost, guys, what team levels do we need to get through the difficulties? And especially if we're using and activating these Scourges or packs, do you have a team levels that's required to go through it? So first and foremost, what's nice is this is already available in the event selection screen, so you can actually go through and click the preview here, and they do actually have all the milestones already available, as well as which levels have certain shards of obviously Green Goblin Classic. So you can go all the way down here, and it does, I believe, cap out at 1.35 million, and this actually unlocks the 4-star yellow for Green Goblin. So that's obviously going to be my game plan to maximize as much as I can. And the good news is, and I'm going to show you guys the chart here in a little bit, is that you can actually in fact reach this at difficulty 7, so we don't need to even push beyond that level. Difficulty 8 is actually where you do require both New Avengers and Rebirth both built up to their certain levels, so it's just something to be mindful of. But if you guys are interested in your rosters, do you have the team levels needed to unlock Green Goblin? That's what we're going to be talking about today. But before I go into more specifically the charts here, I also want to point out that there is a ranking rewards here. So if you guys are doing this event for the very first time and you're not sure how this works, well, essentially how well you do in this event is also going to translate to a payout. Now, if you look in the bottom left here, it does say that you do need to reach a minimum of 400,000 points to earn these ranked awards, and once you do so, you're going to be entered into this leaderboard. As you can see down here on the bottom, the minimum payout for this is an additional 30 shards, so that's going to be added and rewarded to you following the conclusion of the event, just as a heads up. Now, the other thing I want to point out as well is this chart I've populated here in terms of the difficulty level, packs activated, which are the Scourges, and if you have most activated, and as well the ideal team level that's going to be utilized if you guys are going through and building up all these teams. Please keep in mind as well that I don't have the specific the trait restrictions here for each of the nodes, but this is available on the marvelstrikeforce.com blog post, so I'm going to post that in the link in the description below, so that way you guys can reference, because each node is going to require a different description and restriction based on which difficulty you're in. Typically difficulty 5 and above is going to be where it gets trickier, because it's going to require both Rebirth or New Avengers, depending on the node specifically. But again, that specific trait restriction only kicks in at difficulty 8, so that means difficulty 8 to difficulty 7 is pretty fair game if you only have one of the two teams built up. Anything lower, such as difficulty 4 and lower, it is more easy flowing, because they have more of the generic buckets such as hero, city, blaster, tech characters, which honestly aren't an issue if you have some really strong meta characters in those categories. Now guys, I want to deep dive and focus more now on the chart here that I populated, because it does bring to us some really important information on how you want to get the unlock here, right? And as you can see, you look at the very bottom, I also summarize in terms of how you're going to be unlocking Green Goblin. So first and foremost, if you hit 450k points, you're going to be achieving a 3-star Green Goblin after the event conclusion. So that's because this actually gets factored into the rank rewards, and you're going to be getting the additional 30 shards. Those 30 shards are going to be added to your 2-star, which then converts Green Goblin into the 3-star. If you hit 550k points, not only will you get the immediate unlock of Green Goblin during the event, you will also immediately unlock the 3-star, which is a pretty advantageous moment, because by doing so, we're able to actually fully invest in Green Goblin and bring him right back into the event, so that way you can actually use him specifically for the tech section, or even more importantly the city villains, which is my game plan. And then last but not least, 1.35 million points gives you immediately the 4-star unlock. So that's probably what I'm going to be gunning for, but not without the help and aided services of Green Goblin Classic. I'm likely going to be doing at least something that's going to achieve that 550k points, invest in Green Goblin, and then I'll bring them back in for that push to the 1.35 million. And obviously, like I said, I'll keep you guys up to date when this event goes live tomorrow. Now, back to how you guys can fare in your overall team level in terms of what we can hit. I think the most popular, obviously here, to achieve the Green Goblin event unlock overall is hitting that 450 if you can, especially if you want to conserve resources, especially if you're a mid-game player and you're just transitioning to this sort of legendary event unlock. Getting to that unlock is obviously the biggest reward out of each and every one of these events. 450k points can actually be achieved a multitude of different ways, right? To be honest, these are approximations as well. Obviously, these points can deviate as each event has, as we've seen with both Black Cat as well as Nova's event previously. There's deviations, but ideally the most common method is difficulty 5. That's because there's a lot of wiggle room. Typically, if you don't have any packs activated, like I said here, the range is generally from 400 to 450k, so that means you'll likely be getting a 3-star after the event. Now, however, if you're able to add on packs and push confidently through this, you might very well get the 550k points unlocked immediately, getting a hold of the aided services of Green Goblin himself. If you want to ensure this and actually have a pretty smooth run through of it, difficulty 6 is a safer bet, especially since you don't need packs activated for difficulty 6, and typically you can hit easily 600, 650k. Now, if you look at the team level to the right, it's typically associated to the points. It's what I've seen, and then obviously it scales the moment you go difficulty 7 and beyond. So, for example, if you're doing difficulty 1, typically a 100k team can get the job done. Difficulty 2, 200k. So we're using these approximations based on the way it's progressed in the past. And so with difficulty 4, 250 to 350k team does make the most sense. Difficulty 5, having a 350k to 400k team can get the job done. So that's typically what you can expect if you guys are aiming for difficulty 5 to difficulty 6. That means generally having your characters, between that 80,000 to 100 TCP for each character likely is going to bring you to the finish line here for ultimately unlocking Green Goblin. Difficulty 7 is where it gets interesting, because this is where, like I said, it scales more. There's a little bit more strategy involved, and especially priority targets, taking down certain enemies and waves at the right time in that moment, right? So even for this one, we typically have utilized teams from 600 to 800. That average of 700k plus is a really good safe mark. And then lastly, guys, this is the one I'm not touching, and it is in red here, which is difficulty 8. Although we can actually hit the 1.35 million points easier with no packs activated, I don't have new Avengers built up. So I'm strictly going to be focused on difficulty 7. But as you can see here, difficulty 7, with the majority of the packs activated, we're still going to have a really, really good opportunity here to get a 4-star unlock of Green Goblin. And that's why I did not invest in new Avengers, because, why use all these resources and materials if I'm just going to be ending up in the same similar spot as I would have if I already invested in this team that I didn't need to. So there you guys have it. Hopefully this at least now dispels and gives you guys a reference point of what team levels you need for each difficulty level, as well as how the points can be ultimately scored if you activate these packs or no packs. And again, these packs can be advantageous or disadvantageous to your team. At the end of the day, do what works for your score level. And again, remember that if you want to enter into the ranked awards, we do need to hit that 400k minimum, and that's ultimately going to give you some extra shards of Green Goblin. Hopefully this has helped you guys. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to be doing lots of videos on these guides, and I'll be releasing the moment I can. So thank you as always. Do appreciate you guys sharing my videos and following along, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.